What's up? It's us. Me and Lydia here today on Table Scraps. I am tired, but I'm here. It was a long day at work.
He yawned through the countdown.
Yeah, I did. Also, hello to Coffee Queen Bee. Welcome. This is your first time chatting in the stream. It's really awesome to see you.
Wow.
We'll get to the fun stuff, and I'll kind of explain what's going on in a little bit. I have obligatory plugs that I need to do. They'll fire me. They'll throw me in the paper dungeon, and I'll never get out if I don't. So, we have social media. If you want to see more of what we do, just in case you have zero context, we normally have a Dungeons & Dragons game on Mondays that we play, and we talk about it here on Thursdays. We have some different things going on right now, but we'll be back pretty soon with the regular content. We have TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. All awesome things. Check them out. Our TikTok is really rad. Lydia does it, and she's good at her job. We also have a Discord. Our Discord is poppin'. It might be at this exact moment in the top 3 best media we create. We are hilarious.
No, Discord is number 1.
It's really good. I've been playing Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and Crypt of the Necrodancer in our Discord. I'll stream it through the Discord and stuff. So you can hang out with us in voice chat and other people who watch the show. It's really cool. We also have a website, thepaperdungeon.com, where we sell merch, among other things. I think we fixed the links now. Are they good?
Links should be fixed. The whole website should be updated now.
Awesome. Speaking of merch, Lydia, who also has done all of the art for our stream, if you see any art of our characters, any of our overlays, the intro, anything, that's Lydia. Lydia does the art, and she sells it on her store. Well, not that specific art, but she sells art on her store, and it's really good. And Lydia needs money just like all the rest of us, so you should give her your money and get cool stuff in return. Mainly art. Pillows, other things. Is that it? Did we do it? Is that all the plugs?
So. I think we're good.
Sweet. Also, awesome. Would you prefer me to say coffee, queen, bee, or any combination of the 3? Because, like, your name's
Preferred
great.
Preferred nickname.
That's a whole lot of syllables.
B or Z?
All right, I'm calling him Coffee. Coffee's from our TikToks. Do we have any sponsors? You. Our wonderful viewers are our current only sponsors.
I mean, you can. The Regal Rollers thing should still be going.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
It's not going.
It's not going.
But
it'll still pop up in the chat, I think.
The chat command is still going, and Regal Rollers is still really cool, so you should still check them out anyway. Even though the Kickstarter is not still going.
Yeah. Is their store up yet? Is their store up yet? I know that they were going to start a store.
I don't know. Let me look.
So, Coffee, answer to that question. In our Discord, we have an entire section just meant for fan art. And for the most part, for a long time, it was just Lydia and then sometimes me. But now we have a whole bunch of you awesome people who love to do art. We love to see your art. Put it in our fan art section in our Discord. Yes. There are other words that I was planning on saying. There's a definite potential. One of the things that we have in the work is doing a fan art reel in our break session, like break time on the episodes.
That will be there. Mm-hmm.
So we love fan art. We want to see more fan art. We want that. So do that. Even if you think it's bad, we'll think it's great. That's how it works. We love seeing stuff. Literally, when we started the Paper Dungeon, we were all kind of talking about it, and I told Grant, I'm like, Grant, I will consider the Paper Dungeon a success when one person makes fan art of anything that we have done. Because that means that someone liked and was entertained by our content enough to spend their own time making their own content based off of it. That's so cool to me.
Wasn't the first Ginger?
There's a high chance that it was Ginger.
I think it was Ginger. I think Ginger was the first.
It's bad that I don't even remember the moment that it happened, because like that was my like benchmark, and I don't remember what it is.
I mean, we've had a lot. I had Lydia
Raiden,
TPD
thanks for
lore.
the gifted sub.
Thanks, Raiden. I had Lydia lore. Lydia TPD lore turned into fan art today.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's WandaJon.
Yes, I saw that. I was on Discord just before this. Oh man, our Discord's cool.
Our Discord's really cool. Thanks, Maz, for really WandaJon. But Regal Rollers, they don't have a shop up, but I think you can still pre-order dice from the Kickstarter.
Well, neaty. Wait, well, that's not neato. Neaty. What? I am really tired.
It's okay. You're doing great, sweetie.
I am not in a good way. But oh man. Anyway, we should probably try to do some kind of
something. Yeah. What do we want to do?
Well,
we just finished Camp Cryptid.
Yes, that's what I was going to get on. First, coffee. Lydia, is there a good place to see what your character art of the characters is? Like, do we have anywhere for that? I mean, obviously it cycles through.
Yeah.
Oh no, you would have to watch the show, on YouTube.
Oh no.
So you could do that.
Not currently. I'm trying to think if there's somewhere you can find it.
Because I know that the original art was on the website. Mm-hmm. And so that was our like Gen 1
That was like the original.
By Pocket Chicken, they're cool. They do.
Yeah, by Pocket Chicken, swag. I see their stuff on Pinterest every now and then. I'm like, I know them.
And it's still cool.
It's still amazing.
It's still really good.
It's still in the frame over there.
That's a good question. Is it on your store?
My store?
Yeah. Did you put our character art on your store? I would allow that. I don't think that would be a problem.
I plan to put the new updated art up there, but okay. I don't have the like current art.
Gotcha. Also, since Coffee, you are new, fair warning, there will probably be spoilers in Table Scraps. Table Scraps is so if you are like, I must watch the show unsullied by their words, this is a fair warning right now.
But
may say some stuff. But
also, we are currently on a like break right now, and we are going to be picking up with a chapter 2, episode 1. So we're kind of like.
So it's a really good time to enter.
It's a really good time to enter, and you don't necessarily need to go watch all the other episodes. I mean, they'll give you more context and story, and it's fun to watch them. But you don't necessarily need.
Yeah, and we'll probably go over some of it. Like just at the start, not like as previously on the Paper Dungeon, but like through context clues and perhaps an NPC or something along those lines. You'll gain some context through chapter 2 as well. Mm-hmm. Also, hi Halcyon, and thank you for your 4 months, your 3-month streak. Awesome to see you. Faye's here too. Oh man, we are bumping now. Yes. So if you entered our Discord, prepare to get spammed with the like wave to say hi. It's my favorite thing that we do. I love
that we do this.
It's better than anything else to me. It's just everyone just being like, oh nice, hello. Like the Discord was
my favorite is when it's just the screaming where it just
But yes, first off, Camp Cryptid. Camp Cryptid is our in-between mini-series campaign that Lydia DM'd using her own system. It's about cryptid kids, and we just did the last episode of it this past Monday. And although I was not there because I was eating food with my family for the first time in over a year and a half, I felt like that was probably pretty important.
I think that's okay. It takes
a little bit of priority. I was in the game. It was pre-recorded. Do we want to go over kind of like what happened in the finale?
Oh, gosh,
and how I am absolutely correct. My character is right the whole time. I am a winner. And anyone who disagrees is objectively incorrect.
We pick up with Frankie, who is a human. All the others are cryptid kids. Frankie is the only human.
Grant.
Frankie touched the mystery magic. The mystery magic that runs the camp.
The kerfuffle.
And it broke the barrier.
Yes.
And revealed this, like, basically exposed the camp and revealed this field that had a crashed UFO in it, which was assumed Gracie's.
Mm-hmm. Our camp counselor. Missing.
Yes, their camp counselor. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me do. I'm gonna do a quick thing for B. So, Camp Cryptid. Frankie shows up. Frankie's a human boy. He shows up at this camp for cryptid kids, thinking it's not for cryptids. It's for normal kids who like cryptids, but it's actually for cryptids. Then they get this camp counselor who is this great alien, and she's real sweet and cool and all that. And then they go and they do a bunch of activities. They go to settle in for the night, and then in the night she gets disappeared. And so then they're trying to go around and figure out like what happened to her, where she is. All the meanwhile, the other camp counselors are like, "No, you gotta stay here. Don't worry about it. It's fine."
It wasn't fine.
It wasn't fine.
Nothing was fine.
And they're on the hunt for their camp counselor, and there's this kind of like mystery magic that is what creates, hides, and like keeps safe all the cryptids and the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And they needed to access it to be able to leave the camp to go look for Gracie. So they do that, and in Frankie being human and being able to hold the magic, that's what broke the barrier and basically broke the magic.
Boy, Ryan with the Prime sub. For 7 months. Holy cow, Ryan.
And then they break the barrier, they see a crashed UFO, and they go to investigate it, where they find Frankie's mom, who is a well-known cryptid lover. Loves cryptids, obsessed with them.
Person.
And like on the hunt for cryptids and wanting to get a hold of all that, which I'm excited to talk about her because there's so many things that didn't get like touched on that I want to touch on here. But yeah, so they find her. They're like, "What'd you do with Gracie?" Frankie's crying because it's his mom, and NJ's derping. NJ is a Loch Ness monster who's the cutest thing in the world.
Also played by Drew.
And then Jackson steals the magic from Frankie.
Mm-hmm. As I want to do.
And then it's this big kerfuffle of who's going to give it, blah, blah, blah. What's the mom doing here? And then Kid, who's played by DJ and is a goat man, goes to look for Gracie and calls out for Gracie, and Gracie ends up showing up in the UFO.
She's like, "Hey, guys."
She's like, "Hey, guys."
Been here the whole time.
And then, yeah, so then it's this big debate on who to give the magic to, if they should give the magic over. And eventually, Frankie gets back the magic from Jackson, played by Aaron, who is a Spring Hill Jack. And,
oh, yo, thank, Coffee, you can thank Handskate for your gifted sub. Welcome to the sub, people. That's what we do.
And then, what happened? Okay, so Frankie gets the magic back from you, and then goes to throw it to his mom. But then the mom, Gracie, and NJ and Kid all dive for the magic. NJ catches it in his mouth.
Nice.
And then MJ's trying to slowly back away. Mothman gets summoned, and you eventually all realize that the magic can't run the ship because it'll it can't run Camp Cryptid.
All of us.
It won't kill all of you, but you'd lose dead. Camp Cryptid.
Dead.
And
instant death.
And so then one of the big pieces of it all was that the cryptids are actually made from this mystery magic. So Kid ended up giving up his mystery magic to like fuel the ship, and then turned into a human. And then went off to go live with Frankie, and they still would return to the camp every summer.
Out of a sea of bad endings, we ended up on the like, I mean, it's not the worst.
I mean, yeah. There was a lot of ways it could have gone really, really wrong.
Straight up Jackson. Jackson sitting here, he's like, all of you are the worst possible people. On one hand, we have this lady who sent her child into the den of beasts.
Frankie's mom is horrible.
Not okay.
Frankie's mom is crazy. If you would have given the magic to Frankie's mom, it would have been bad.
It's bad.
It would have been bad.
Terrible.
She's a little nuts.
Then you have this teenage girl who crashed her car. It's a spaceship. And like, okay, I know that it may have caused an alien invasion, but like, so instead of being like just pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, getting up the guts to tell your parents, Mom, Dad, I crashed my car. Can you come pick me up? No, instead you're willing to sacrifice the people who took you in, who fed you, who gave you everything.
She wasn't gonna sacrifice you guys.
There's no way we're gonna live in the wild. We're idiots. We're kids.
Towards the end,
some random zookeeper is gonna stroll up and be like, yo, Jim, get the trank gun. Dead.
But that's the thing, though, was once you guys were like, yeah, no, Gracie, this is bad. She was like, oh, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
She was just really sad about it. She's going to go home, my guy. She's a little teen girl. Leave her alone.
I have a problem with anyone under the age of 76. I also have problems with people over the age of 76. They're problems.
What about people who are 76?
Whew, I mean, they've had it coming.
What does that mean?
I mean, they got to 76 somehow.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, if you guys would have made...
Just leave. We should just go home. Like, I'm not one to cower under authority, but, like, these are the worst possible options. And then we end up on the option that is, gosh dang, what's his face? I don't even remember his name. Who was DJ?
Kid.
Kid? Yes, because Kid's baby goats.
Yeah.
Kid has to give up that which makes him a cryptid. That is his identity. That is all he's ever known. He's a kid. He doesn't know how this is going to affect him in the future. He's a human now. He's gonna try to go climb up a cliff and just break every bone in his body. and who is he living with? He goes and lives with the crazy woman who threw her child to the wolves. That's not a win for humanity. You
are 100% the person that like takes like a kids show and finds all the really dark theories.
I am absolutely that person.
Yeah, don't overthink it. It's okay. It's just
Jackson knows though. Jackson's like, this is not okay.
Jackson does become a villain.
Yeah, this is his origin.
Jackson was a villain.
This whole thing is Jackson's origin story. Like, we're gonna next summer. You're gonna come back and it's gonna be like Camp Cryptid 2, Venture into the Lake of Death. Jackson's gonna be an absolute villain.
Well, I was talking about this in Discord after the finale finished and when everybody was in the watch party deal. I was talking on the Discord and I was like, I love these guys, and I love running games for them, but I will never do a mystery ever again.
Okay, my favorite part about
I will never.
I saw someone call Grant out as they were like watching. I don't think it was live. I think they watched the finale later, like the VOD. And before we recorded the episode. You're like, okay, guys, a thing that I want you to do at kind of the start of the episode is to go over the information that you know, so that way it kind of catches people up. It takes a bit of time in the episode, like blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. We get in. I have to drag Grant. I'm like, okay, let's go over our clues. And Grant goes, no. And I'm like, what do you mean, no?
I think that was me. I called him out in the chat.
I'm like, he's just like, I don't know, I think that we should just go. I'm like, this was 2 minutes ago, Grant. 2 minutes ago that Lydia was like, hey, Grant, actually, everyone, we should discuss our clues, because that's a cool thing. I would love it if you would do that. And Grant's like, I didn't hear anything you just said. That's a very typical Grant move. Is you're like, it's Grant is the definition of the Patrick meme where the guy's trying to give him back his wallet, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir,
but it's not my wallet."
Yeah, like you dropped his wallet, and he's like, "Oh no, I didn't." He's like, "Well, do you own a wallet that looks like this?" And he's like, "Yes." And he's like, is your name Patrick Starr? And he's like, yes. And he's like, did you have this in your wallet? He's like, yes. He's like, so you have this wallet. It is your wallet. He goes, yes. And he's like, so here's your wallet. That's not my wallet. That's Grant in a nutshell. You'll explain things and he'll be like, yes, I love it. That's so awesome. This is so cool. Love it. And then you're like, okay, now let's do it. And he's like, I didn't hear anything that you just said for the past 20 minutes.
Gosh. But yeah, no, there was... mysteries are hard.
Mysteries are hard. They're not easy.
Yeah,
I was amazed at what you did with it.
Oh, gosh. Like... And I had to tell DJ in between recordings one time. I felt really bad because DJ kept... pulling DM moves where he'd know what I needed to do next, like what I was setting up to do next, and he'd just run to it, and I'm like, wait, no, it's not set up yet.
I'm not ready.
So I had to keep being like, basically the like turn the head as they're running thing all the time with DJ, and I had to apologize. I was like, I know you're trying to do stuff, and I know I just keep stopping you, but I'm like, but it's not ready.
And the best part is, it's like, it's not you're stopping him because he's going in such the complete opposite direction. It's that he's right.
Yeah.
But like...
But it's like, slow down.
DJ's ability to take the hint that, hey, maybe you shouldn't go there yet is not strong. Yeah, no. So I've ran a couple of mysteries in D&D. I've ran them in Vicen. Like, the problem with mysteries is that if you enter into it and you don't have every part of the mystery completely figured out logistically, it falls apart. Like you walk on like a tightrope, and if any one thing goes slightly off, you're like, oh! And then everything starts to fall, and you're like, oh god.
Well, and then I'm trying to think. There was one point, there was one episode specifically where it's like, I'm pretty sure every single one of you had tried to split off on your own at some point. And I was like, guys, where are you going? I was like, you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. Come back.
So I'll be honest. Part of me knew that would be a problem, but also I was like, it's such a meme to be like, all right, gang, let's all go completely different directions.
Well, yeah, it was like, I think you suggested to split up. NJ wandered off at one point. Kid kept trying to run off a lot. At one point, like, it made me laugh so hard when NJ was, like, waddling away to go to the lake. And then I'm like, okay, we're at the lake.
What do you want to do?
What did you want to do?
He's like, I don't know, I just liked the lake.
I don't know, I just like the splash.
My favorite thing was sometimes I would just ruin other people's plans. And part of it was because I knew, I'm like, A, either this is not a place that we're supposed to be, or B, Lydia is not prepared for us to do this yet. So there were times where it was like, someone's doing something and I'd be like, Jackson's a jerk. I'll ruin it.
God, that killed me. That killed me so many times where I'd be like, hey, Aaron, I'm going to rely on you to do this. And you'd be like, no. And I'd be like,
okay. Heck. Okay. I would say that
no,
80% of the things that you asked me to do, I accomplished.
You did great.
And the 20%, it worked out fine.
It worked out fine. It was really fun, but it was definitely hurting cats. And
well, it's also really hard. Like, you and I are the two that have done the like mini-series stuff so far. Mm-hmm. They're really hard to do.
With the time frame, especially when you have such a specific time frame.
Yeah, like, and especially, so not only are you limited by how many episodes you're allotted, so like this was 4 episodes, a lot of the Between the Rows stuff is like either 4 or 6, I think. You also have a limited time per episode.
Yeah.
So like, even if you have it completely planned out, start to finish, you're like, this is what I've got. Sometimes they either go way too fast or way too slow. So then you just have to like cut things or put things in.
Yeah.
And so then it's also rough. And it is really hard to do. Like, I struggle enough. What?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I really struggled with actually like getting the motivation to plan, because I was just like, I don't know what to do, but. What were you gonna say?
Oh man, it's rough. But yeah, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh no. Oh no,
you were gonna
Jenna.
say it was something that's a struggle. Because I was saying a thing.
Oh, I mean, there's so many. Oh yeah, I struggle with one-shots a lot. Like, and this is so. In terms of DMs that I really enjoy watching, I know that he isn't for everyone. I love Chris Perkins' DMing. I think that it's incredible, just because of the smoothness that he operates timed sessions. So like, Chris Perkins has worked on like every edition of Dungeons & Dragons ever. I literally think he has. I'm pretty sure he's been involved with the creation of every edition except for like maybe first. Ran Acquisitions Incorporated for a really long time, and they would have like, okay, yeah, we have 4 hours, and obviously it's a promo for whatever new thing they're releasing, and he would manage to perfectly explain what exactly this thing is that they're trying to sell, run a competent game that was both fun, entertaining to watch, and had a compelling story, and they would end perfectly at like 4 hours. Like, literally, there's one thing that happens where he's like, well, yeah, so we're ending, and they'll look over at the clock, and there's like 1:30 left in their remaining time, which is like the exact amount of time that they need to outro. And I'm like, how? I can write down like 2 sentences for the plot of a one-shot, and it will still take me 6 hours, or it'll take me 20 minutes. Like, I have no idea how in the world you can possibly run a one-shot that ends perfectly at 4 hours. That blows me away. But yeah, so like, I think it's a little easier for me running like a long, like a mini campaign, because at least then if something doesn't fit, I can kind of shove it into the next one.
See, because I've run a few one-shots before, but I'm not a fan of one-shots. I'm not a fan of one-shots in general. Most of the time.
They're tough. Like, I have a massive amount of respect for people who, like, I know people who only run one-shots. That's like all they do.
That's like mad skill. Like, that's really impressive to me.
Look, you are in a realm, like, I believe myself to be a skilled person. We are on 2 completely different sectors of skill here. There is no comparison. A one-shot Coffee Queen Bee, to explain, so what we normally put on Mondays is a campaign. So it is a long-term, the same characters, same story, progression over a very long course of time. It can be anywhere from probably longer than 2 months to, I know a group of people that have been in the same campaign for over 4 years. A one-shot is just one session. You won't play the characters again. The story is completely contained in however long that one-shot is. And most likely that same group of like characters won't ever see each other again. Now, sometimes I have known one-shots to turn into campaigns when everyone was like, that was so awesome. I want to do that more. Can we do that like every week? Suddenly you have a campaign. But yeah, no, for us as a show, one-shots are really good ways for, oh god, our DM couldn't make it today. Hey, Aaron, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah. So they're a bit of a tool to just, for us to fill in an episode's worth of time without having to continue anything or really cut off any loose ends. Yeah. Speaking of one-shots, you will have an excellent example of what a one-shot is this Monday. Yeah. That was the smoothest transition I think I've ever done into anything. Ever.
Well done. Well done.
This coming Monday, we will be having a one-shot, which I don't know if we can. I mean, we can preview. Oh my gosh, I dropped the pencil.
I say we can say now. I
think regardless of the scheduling, I think they'll be there.
Yeah.
I think we'll manage.
Okay, so we've been planning on having a guest for this one shot for a while, and we've known who the guest is gonna be, but we wanted to make sure that scheduling was gonna be okay and everything before we said who it was. But we're pretty sure. And
it's Thursday. We have it's 4 days from now. If it doesn't work out, oh well, we'll just play with the four of us.
Right.
We'll manage.
But yeah, they've got a crazy schedule, so it's completely understandable. But our guest is Dumpstat Podcast.
They're really cool. They've worked with you before, haven't they?
Yes. They are a podcast in the name. And they do basically what Table Talks is, but like
more focused and controlled and professional.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they had me come on to do an episode. The episode hasn't been released yet because they really stock up, but they're really, really awesome, really cool. I'm really, really, really excited to actually get to play with them. So yeah, so definitely check out Dumpstat Podcast. They're hilarious. The podcast is actually hilarious.
I'll be honest. I don't even know who it is that we're playing. I've never met them. I've never heard them. I've never listened to the podcast. This is gonna be great.
We'll be playing with Brill, and I'm so excited.
Yes.
Brill is who I did the talk episode with.
I'm pumped.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, as a little bit of info about what you should expect for the one shot, I think I explained it last week, but we have new people, and so I can explain it again. Our adventurers, aka Lydia, Grant, Drew, DJ, and Brill, that's a whole 5. Whoever their characters are, I know that Lydia, you have yours, Drew, DJ also have theirs. And I don't know who else has anything. I know Grant doesn't have his. I can tell you that much. But they have been basically all around the world. This one shot will take place in our core campaign's universe. A kind of bounty or missive was released requesting assistance with a stolen item. And the requester only left the name the Chestnut King. So for those of you who have been watching the show for a while, that is a name that, I think it's a very popular NPC that everyone loves, except for Lydia. Lydia.
Oh, I hate this NPC.
The worst NPC.
He's the worst.
a missive from the Chestnut King requesting assistance with the retrieval of a stolen item. Your group are the only ones who have completely made it to the Chestnut King and have been given the full orders and commands. Thank you for muting your work meeting to join in here. Proud of you. That's the real Paper Dungeon supporters right there. We will. They will enter into a banquet in an attempt to retrieve the Staff of Autumn. A bunch of things will happen. They'll go into different games. There will be a fourth wall breaking quiz show. I'm really excited for that. I love breaking the fourth wall. There will be cameos. So if you guys have watched the show before, expect to see some, a couple of surprise things.
Oh my gosh.
Expect to see some interesting characters, some people that you may have seen before. Leshka is the only one who won't be there.
Everybody else will be there.
Leshka's in everything else. This is the one thing that Leshka isn't in. Melora will be there. She'll be back. Havel and his girlfriend. Yo, Commune DM with a raid.
Thank you. Welcome. Hello, friends.
Hello, the welcome in. It is awesome to see you and the Commune DM. We are talking about our one shot this coming Monday. We have a guest. Dumpstat Podcast will be joining us, giving a little overview of what exactly the game is. Destiny's Gamble. I can't guarantee that they will be there, but they were given an invitation.
I love that.
Straight up, Mike the Myconid will be there. Whole bunch of people
For real?
I don't know. You think that I've written every single NPC that will be there? I have.
If Mike isn't there, I'm gonna cry. And if Mike is there, I'm gonna cry.
You see, I'm like, you see, Lydia, that's a dangerous thing, because as we know, tears sell views. So, as the local villain of the Paper Dungeon. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of fun thing planned. I do know Grant's character. He doesn't have it built yet, but he knows what character he's going to be playing.
Okay.
I know that you are a tiefling bard. Mm-hmm. I know that DJ is a Kenku wizard. Drew is an Aasimar rogue.
Did he change to wizard?
If he might not be a wizard then. What is he?
I thought he was being the College of Eloquence bard.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, he's a bard. For some reason, I always just assumed that he's put
He came
College
from
of
my
Lore.
brand.
Yeah, no. DJ is like, I'm going to jack your steez, Lydia.
He always does.
And the best part is he's a College of Eloquence as a character that can't speak, which is a really interesting thing that he's ended up on. So I'm excited to see what he does with this. But yeah, and then Grant, just the Chad that Grant is. We were sitting at a very expensive restaurant when we had this conversation about his character. I'm not sure of the race that he'll play yet, but he will be playing a barbarian, and I know for a fact that he will have the chef feat. This is a thing that I am aware, and I'm excited for it. I know kind of how his character will look, and oh boy, it's going to be a journey. So I'm very excited. There will be a cooking contest included in the things. So get ready for that. It's going to be basically an episode of Food Wars, but PG, theoretically. Yeah, he goes into a Ramsay rage. That's actually the joke that we were making, is like a barbarian that, like, he's normally a very peaceful person, but then they're like, a fight happens and he's like, think about bad food. It's raw! Just starts, like, slamming people around. Just like, it's rotten! Just like slamming people in the head with a frying pan. It's going to be a blast. But yeah, so tune in on Monday for hopefully a one shot that doesn't suck. Where's the duck sauce?
I'm so excited.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
That's not healthy. Don't eat raw chicken. I'm sorry, I got distracted by that. Coffee, that's not. Don't eat raw chicken.
Oh, no.
That's an idiot sandwich move if I've ever seen one.
So yes, we've got that. Then after that, are you doing your character?
Oh shoot!
Thing that Thursday?
Is that Thursday? Is that Thursday? Because so it's the 27th. Is the 4th one the duo? No, the 4th is the.
So we are doing.
Isn't the 4th the filing cabinet?
Filing cabinet, yes.
So it'll be the 7th that
okay.
the character intro is.
Right. Okay. Yes. So we'll have table scraps again next week, and then week after that. Gosh, we got so many things happening.
Speaking of cooking, in our Discord, we have a channel completely devoted to food.
It's
and
true.
Baked goods. Handskate and several other of our viewers that are in there are very good cooks. Oh, and yes, and Hal as well also makes food in there. It's great. Send us cool recipes that we can steal and use for our own personal gain. I like food. Our personal gain would be eating the food. We've got a busy couple of weeks coming up.
Dude, we do with just TPD and life.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, fun little tidbit. Lydia will be moving down to where Grant and I are, and we will be all in one big. Oh, geez, what does the Grant calls it the TPD hype house? Mm-hmm. Think of when the Paul brothers bought a mansion. We're gonna be like that, except poor and not bad. Oh yes, Grant calls it the Paper Manor. You should be down here on like the 12th, I think is the time that you should fully show up.
You guys come to me the 10th, mm-hmm. and then the plan is the 12th is when we'll actually get back.
Oh God, Grant, you also missed me ragging on you earlier, Grant. It'll happen again, don't worry about it. But yeah, so basically our week goes, guest one shot this Monday.
Okay, so
crazy, mm-hmm. gosh dang, filing cabinet the next Monday. Mm-hmm. Character kind of duo shots the Monday after that, which is also when we're moving.
Yes.
And then on that Thursday, theoretically, we should have a table scraps where Grant, Lydia, and I might all be in the same room. Or, well, we could be.
I didn't even think about that. But that's so true.
That means that when Grant says something really dumb on table scraps, I can show up.
When table scraps happens, because it's probably still going to just be you and me, though.
Yeah, but Grant's in the chat right now.
I know. But I'll run into frame on like your screen. Oh, that's gonna be so
There's just
fun.
the door open, just like across the door. You have very at times you have very Swedish Chef energy.
I was on the announcements in high school, and we had a Muppet Day, and I was the Swedish Chef.
I can look. Some people have tarot decks. Some people have like horoscopes. I am a Muppet. That's what type of Muppet you are is my version of that.
We already did this. We did this,
Aaron. Have. I'm pretty sure that I already told my only fun Muppet fact which is about the Swedish Chef.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell it again because I think it's cool.
Go for it.
So, puppeteers, how they work. So the Muppets, you have two people running Muppet normally, and the more advanced puppeteer runs the head, and so they control where the body goes. And then we met our sub goal. Thank you, Today Tree, for your sub. You are our
Heck
85th sub. Thanks for getting the goal.
Thank you.
But the advanced puppet runs the head and body and kind of directs where the puppet goes. And then the understudy puppeteer runs the arms. But when they were signing up who runs what part of the Muppet for the Swedish Chef, they blew it. And so they put the head puppeteer as the hands and his understudy puppeteer as the head. And the head puppeteer was like, screw you guys. And basically dragged the other puppeteer all around. And so instead of letting the body and head lead, he just drug him with the arms. So that's why the Swedish Chef runs with his arms out like that, is because the other puppeteer can't keep up. So that's my fun Muppet fact about the Swedish Chef, is that entire character trait started because of that. Thank you for the sub.
Thank you for the sub.
Weepy's user? I'm blind.
Weepiest user.
Weepiest? There's a T? Oh, I'm sorry
cry.
that you're weeping.
Hey, Mom!
But yeah, shout out to Tina. Welcome to Muppet Facts.
My mom isn't here right now. My mom's in Indiana.
Shoot. Oh. Visiting the fam. Something like that.
Visiting friends.
Ah, friends. I remember when I had those.
Oh, what's that like?
I can barely remember.
Joining Weepiest user.
Yeah, we all just cry. That's what we're going to now. Just crying. Oh shoot. Oh, hey, Grant's listening in on this. Were you there? I know I talked about it last night in the VC, but I got to help Grant figure out what the crap Edward's deal is.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I love doing that kind of stuff. Some of the things that Grant and I got to talk about just for Edward are hilarious. So we were going over his spells, and it took us probably a good 30 to 45 minutes to even figure out why he had 4 cantrips. Because there was multiple possibilities as for why he had 4 cantrips. And none of them... Well, there was multiple possibilities for why he would have a wrong number of cantrips, and none of the wrong number of cantrips should have been 4. So we're looking at it and we're like, okay, so you're this level of bard, that means you should have 3 cantrips. And you're this level of Eldritch Knight, which means that you should have 2 cantrips. At no point in time do those numbers make 4. So we're like, did you just not add another cantrip?
Uh-huh.
Did you... We're learning all these things. And we ended up on... Yeah, Coffee, this is going to be a tough convo for you if you don't know a whole lot of D&D stuff. But we ended up on, we think that he looked at the bard spell sheet and went, yes, I am level 10, therefore I have 4 cantrips. Which is how many cantrips a bard would have at level 10.
Mm-hmm.
But that means that he didn't even look at any of the spells that he got for Eldritch Knight. Look, and that makes sense.
I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have D&D Beyond, so...
I can't stand it. I can't do D&D Beyond. I struggle.
I can't do without D&D Beyond.
I struggle greatly. I actually have the notebook here. So I got to draw diagrams for him, which is really fun. It started off, I'm going to show you my workflow here, and I don't know if you'll even be able to see it, but it's going to be a blast. So we started off on this page, which contains all of his stats, and then we mathed out that and his health.
You write so tiny.
Well, yeah, I write in the lines.
It's tiny.
Or
your page is just really big.
That is also the case. So then we end up with a whole bunch of math here, and then this is us adding up his health. Let me switch over to the next page. I'm not even sure what's going on this page. I think it's us figuring out his armor class. We go to the next page. This was a multi-page process. Somehow we end up... This is me explaining how a spell worked with area of effect. This is cantrips that he had, and most of this page was just figuring out why he had 4 cantrips. That was pretty much it. And then we go over... Now we start getting into the action turn-based economy. I've got... You know how you have your cheat sheet? That's this page. I just wrote out cheat sheets for where he was, where he is, and where he will be. I'm pretty proud of him. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice.
Look, Edward is now a character that I'd be willing to play. Because Edward can do some kind of bonkers stuff. And it's pretty simple in general, which is pretty cool. And then we end up with this new spell list. Also, he was supposed to know 10 spells, but Grant never, when he switched out spells when he was leveling up, he didn't get rid of them. So, in total, on his list of spells that he had, he had...
Oh, no.
Over 20 spells that he just had to remember which ones he had available.
So what does he use? Does he use D&D Beyond, or does he have something else he uses?
For some things, he uses D&D Beyond, which I do the same. I use D&D Beyond for health. See, Grant, you didn't use any of the old spells, but you also didn't get rid of them. So it was a mess. It was like you walked into a room, and you had a whole bunch of water bottles partly filled with water, and then some of them were like, no, I opened these yesterday. And it's like, well, then why didn't you throw away the old water bottles? And you're like, I just didn't. So it's like, well, how do you know which ones? You're like, well, I think it's the ones closer to my computer. That's what it was. So I believe you. I don't think you were cheating at all. Like, we went through that. We confirmed, like, okay, yeah, we've seen Edward use these spells, blah, 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 blah. We're good. But it was hilarious. Like, the sheer quantity of just, like, mess that we had to work through. Looks great now. But yeah, it was fun. I'm pretty sure that before Grant said something, I had a thing that I was going to talk about.
Hello, Pool.
Hello, Pool. But yeah, pretty cool now. It was great. We're just sitting there and going through some things. We've officially boosted Edward's AC from a 13 to a 19.
That is a significant improvement.
And let me tell you, none of it has anything to do with magic. It's literally, we just got him some medium armor and a shield. It's like not that hard. We could have done that literally like at level 8. At level 8, yeah. Could have had that. And we definitely had the money for it. It's just half plate and a shield.
Yeah, I mean, I have mithril. Gosh. Poor Grant. I'm glad he's caught up now, though.
And you know, all those times that Grant would just get, like, murked in combat. Like, and why... Like, I know that we had to question it. But it's funny, because every single time that we would be like, hey, Grant, what's your AC? And he'd be like, oh, it's 13. Every time he said it, it was surprising. It's every single time. Yeah. It's like we expected something to be different. It never was. But yeah, I'm excited to see Edward come back, and there's a couple more things that Grant and I need to do to just finalize some stuff for him, get him some cool additional things that DJ was like, Aaron, you can homebrew that thing for him. I'm excited for it. There's going to be some big Edward change I'm excited to see. Mainly the fact that he's theoretically a competent character. Game changer out here tonight. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for chapter 2 overall. I think it's gonna be super fun.
I'm so excited for chapter 2.
Stream I have to relearn laggy for some reason. Hold on, gang. Is it laggy for anyone else?
It doesn't like mine's lagging. I'm gonna have to relearn Renee's accent.
Yes.
You know, we go 1 week, and I'd lose it.
Same.
What you?
Yeah.
Got some stuff.
No, let me tell you, I feel the exact same way. I'm gonna come back to this, and whew, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that voice anymore.
Aaron. Heck.
I was really looking to see how long we could draw out that silence. It's a good one. Whew. I'm excited. We're gonna be back with whole new TikTok content, new art. I'm so excited for the art, Lydia. I hate being the person to pressure you, so I don't want you to feel any pressure. No.
I'm glad you do check in.
I want it so bad.
I do plan on starting yours today.
Sorry, I've been holding that in for a long time. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing that's going to be happening with Chapter 2, and we're going to be testing it out with the one-shot. We are going to be able to have closed captions on screen during the live stream. We've figured out how to do it. Now it's just about navigating it and making sure and learning.
I'm terrified because I suck with electronics.
Well, here's the thing that's hilarious is Drew and I were testing it out a little bit, and oh gosh, it's gonna be comical sometimes when we say our character names. I'm trying to remember.
Table.
Cather is always Catherine whenever I say Cather. Renaya is Renea all the time. Let's see.
Hello, first time chatter today, Tree 52. This is a really good time to catch up on the campaign because we're in hiatus right now. So you've got 2 weeks. No, technically kind of 3.
Hold on. You have 1, 2,
3, 2.5.
3, a little over 3.
Ooh, great. Well, I mean, are we counting the duo shots? Because that isn't technically the episode 1.
I'm not.
It is in episode 1.
It's not episode 1.
But it is pretty good to watch.
Also, you chapter 2. We said it earlier. Chapter 2 is a good point to join
Absolutely a great start to join in.
As long as you're okay with spoilers of what happens in the chapter 1 part of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really glad that we're doing it the way that we're doing it with the chapter 2, because I know from personal experience it's really daunting to start watching a show that's been going on for 200 episodes.
Yeah.
And you're do I just jump in now? Do I just do I start at the beginning? Because by the time that I reach to where they are now, they're going to have another 50 episodes.
And what's even worse is it's D&D, so it's 4-hour episodes.
Yeah, and you're and you can't maintain that information for that. That's really hard to do. Yeah. So with the chapter 2
they're already at episode 38. Look at them go.
I'm so proud. I love hand skate, but some people have lives.
Not us.
Yeah. It's fair. That's accurate, Ryan. Catching up to One Piece should take you 3 years, and if it doesn't, you're a monster.
You can do it, Pella. I believe in you.
But yeah, what am I saying? But with the chapter 2, it's really cool because it's the same campaign.
Yes, it's same campaign.
It picks up like a little bit after we like ended, but if you jump in at the start of chapter 2, it's basically a whole new campaign.
It's a brand new like arc deal.
I think it's awesome because it's like you can like the characters will be different than they were in chapter 1. So for us it's even going to be kind of relearning characters and stuff.
100%.
But we'll still have all of the same like little tropes and callbacks that we would if we were just running the campaign all the way through. And I think that's so good. It gives people time to catch up if they want to, a new place to enter for like new viewers who are really daunted by the like, oh shoot, they've been running for 70 episodes and that's 4 hours each. That's 280 hours of time, not counting any one-shots or in-between things, like having to watch every single side episode on table scraps because it's technically in world. Oh god, that's just so rough. You should totally watch all of the one-shots that we did on table scraps.
Because that was one of the things was we were debating just saying if this was campaign 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like we wanted to keep them tied. I don't either. I'm glad that we landed on the chapters. I'm glad that we landed on
chapter. Also, it's the paper dungeon.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's great. It's papers, books.
And I'm not gonna like, but it was.
It was absolutely your idea. It was absolutely your idea. I had not even thought about it. I was just like, meh. We'll just pick up episode 71. It's whatever. I don't want to go to any extra work. And then Lydia's like,
now hear me out.
Like, and it's very, very good idea. I think it's great. I'm excited. I want to play Dungeons and Dragons again in a long form campaign.
I do too.
Because I love one-shots. I'm excited for this upcoming one-shot. Campaigns just hit different.
And I miss playing with you guys.
Okay, well, let's not go too far.
I freaking miss hanging out with you guys.
That's fair.
Gosh.
You'll be forced to hang out with Grant and I.
It's more like
point where you're gonna be like,
and Grant will be forced to hang out with me.
Absolutely, Ryan. That was our thought as well. Chapter 2 is just like, it's a continuation. We literally have the One Piece time skip. That's literally what we did to put it in that anime mindset. This actually brings up an interesting thing that I was talking with Grant about yesterday. Same time that we were talking about characters and stuff. DJ and I, as DMs, have very different views on how characters function in a lot of ways. So when I am DMing for like a game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, specifically 5th edition, because I've played, I believe, 3.5 not for very long. I have the option of being in a 4th edition campaign. It looks like a blast. I don't want to go to the effort to learn 4th edition. But in 5th edition, I view the characters as, much of the time, superheroes. Like, especially once you get past level 10. Like, once you get into higher level 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, for 5th edition, for me, if you were to compare a mortal and a god, at maximum strength of a normal character, it caps out at 20. That's only 10 points away from the maximum total cap of 30. So if a god, the god of strength, has a 30, you are only 1/3 away from their total power. That means you have 2/3 of a god's strength. That's bonkers to me. That's like super awesome. So in my mind, I want characters to be doing things that should be theoretically impossible for a normal person. Like, I'm going to use an example of a thing that Tarak did, which is trying to stop the ship from falling down the mountain. I love that kind of stuff. Like, the way that I explained it to Grant is, like, I don't think that a character should be able to pick up a mountain, but they should be able to part an oncoming, like, landslide. Like, they should be able to put themselves up as a bulwark and like, punch through it and guide it around a city that they're trying to protect. That stuff, like, it'll cost you, and you'll have to roll high on the die.
Right, yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff that I'd love to see characters do to kind of bridge that gap. 5th edition brings up the power of a mortal and down the power of a god. Mm-hmm. To kind of put them on closer to a level playing field, which is right in my wheelhouse. DJ tends to view characters like people in the 5th edition, whether they be a player or an NPC, and gods on very, very vastly different. And they both of them have very cool aspects to them. Like, in DJ's world, gods have the power to permanently alter reality. Like, putting planets and stars into the sky, completely, like, wiping out an existence or erasing them from history. And then, like, mortals have to contend with their whims a lot of the time. And that has also really potential for really cool story building. But we're just on very different wavelengths when it comes to how Dungeons & Dragons plays, which I think is so cool. But yeah, like, I don't know how I got on this conversation. Oh, because Grant went, oh yeah, it's like anime. That's what it was. I was like, what? And he was like, well, in an anime, you're probably not going to see him, like, move a mountain. They might, like, blow it up, but they're not going to, like, lift it. But you will see someone, like, throw a really big rock. Or, like, punch an avalanche. Or something like that. Like, that is something that you'll see. And I was like, actually, Grant, that's very fair. That's a very good analogy that you've written up here for me today. So for those of you who watch anime, I'm a very anime DM. I love that kind of stuff. I will also say, Lydia, I haven't seen you do, like, a long-term campaign. Mm-hmm. I have heard that you have potentially one in the works.
I do.
For some peeps.
I worked on it this morning.
So I'm excited to see what your kind of take on it is. Like, would you say that you're more leaning towards the, like, gods and mortals on close playing field, or are you more of a gods are in a completely different realm from people kind of deal?
I'm an in-between. I'm a kind of you work up to it kind of deal.
Where gotcha. So it's like you start off as like a normal person and then have the chance to reach the realms of the gods, like that kind of thing. Yeah, I love it. I think it's awesome.
Because I've run a campaign before. It never got to finish. But then actually doing Camp Cryptid made me want to DM more. And like I said, I hate one-shots. And then I love seeing characters grow over a long period of time, and so I really wanted to do another big campaign kind of deal, and so that's what I'm working on right now. And it's all homebrew, which is a lot, but I'm really excited and I'm having a lot of fun. I was spending this morning navigating the, like, Pantheon and Planes of Existence.
Can you give us any information about that?
So the whole general theme of the campaign is very, like, cosmic inspired. Magic in the world is either from stars themselves or from dark matter. And then there was kind of this, like, mother goddess, and she, like, her magic, she still exists, but she's not, like,
she isn't actively
there
involved
anymore. Yeah. But she was basically just a bunch of this magic stardust had collected, and it was all magical, and it gave itself life, and then she was made, and then she made everything else. But then she actually distributed her magic out within the world deal, and then the like deities now are people who have kind of like collected that and now hold claim to that kind of magic that she used to have. But yeah, it's like there was her, and then she kind of designated two people to kind of be the like main gods.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the others were kind of like either assigned or they stumbled across their magic that made them powerful. So basically, it's all of the lesser deities were normal people.
Gotcha.
And have since like altered and changed and things like that. And then the planes of existence, dude, that thing's confusing.
Oh yeah.
So I changed it.
Sounds right.
But yeah, it's much more simpler, and there's some lore with it too. But it's like the elemental planes exist on the planet.
Nice.
The Feywild and Shadowfell are still there. The astral plane is still there, but the astral plane is literally just space.
Nice.
And then there is the ethereal plane, but between like the material plane and the ethereal plane are the plane of dreams and the plane of the forgotten. And they act as kind of like barriers between the material plane and the ethereal plane.
I love that. I think that's very, very good. I am very excited. Like when you said that the elemental planes are like on the material plane. Mm-hmm. So that's like you could just like walk to one. Mm-hmm. So that tells me that your world is pretty big. So like in terms of actual planet size. Mm-hmm. That's terrifying. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you right now, terrifying.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it, my plan is it's still pretty new. Newer. Okay.
Gotcha. So a lot of it is still undiscovered.
Like, yeah. So there's a lot of area that isn't fully discovered because a lot of people are like, that's too crazy. We're not going in there.
Yep. They're like, and that makes it a lot easier for you as a DM because you can kind of just be like, yes, this has been here the whole time. Of course.
I'm also really excited because on one of my streams, I've been doing a lot of like letting chat decide stuff for the world.
That's awesome.
Or like having chat roll to see how something turns out. And one of the things that they did was decide, so there's like what I have them called right now is planar fractures. Ooh. In the world, where it's like these are like actual portals in the world to the different planes that just exist. That's like awesome. Naturally kind of deal, and you can just go and find them. Not all of them have been discovered though, so some of them are still hidden, and I know some of my players in chat, but I can't wait for them to accidentally go through a portal.
Just like, boop, boop, boop. Oh no. So this tells me right now, this is like the dream campaign for the Ranger subclass, the Horizon Walker.
I don't have a Ranger.
Oh, what are you guys doing?
I have one player who's still undecided on what they're going to be, but I don't have a Ranger.
What are they doing? Okay, so you know what the Horizon Walker Ranger does.
In basics.
Basically, so their chosen enemy is planar rifts. That's how to explain it. They can like send out a pulse that tells them location of the nearest like entrance into a different plane. Mm-hmm. So this is like their dream, a wild, unexplored world with rifts to different planes of existence. What are y'all doing?
We've got a cleric, we've got a rogue, we've got a wizard, We got a warlock, and I believe we've got a paladin.
Okay, that's a very balanced team comp.
And then we got one more who's still deciding.
Ranger. You're gonna struggle with range.
But yeah, I'm really excited because in Discord yesterday, on the DPD Discord, while I think, were you in there?
Yes.
I think so. I think you were. But yeah, me and the players, because all my players are from the TPD server. Yeah, so we were sitting there and we were going over some like character stuff and things like that, and I'm really, really excited. The hard part is it's all homebrew, so it's like I gotta actually figure out stuff and like to answer their questions, and I'm just like, I don't know yet.
My favorite thing is I pop in to the Discord last night to be like, hey, wait, were you just talking? I was responding to someone, but you were like, so they're gonna have a call an Aaron ability where they can just attempt to get in contact. Aaron? Yeah. So that is my contribution to your game, is being someone that they can sometimes ask a question to, maybe, and I love it. But
it's gonna be great because we're gonna be in the same house. Like I'm gonna be like, Aaron, they want to phone you.
How does this
Are you gonna pick up?
And I'm like, I'm getting food. Do you want anything?
Yeah.
What do you want? Where are you going? I don't know. But yeah, it's so I'm gonna say it right now. If you ever need someone to hop in as like a villain or an NPC for like 2 sessions, I'm available at pretty much all points in time.
We're 100% gonna do that.
I'm so excited to guest star in my roommate's Dungeons and Dragons game. Oh man.
Here's another thing. So this is another thing happening over with my streams. I'm doing as of right now with my usual days just Tuesdays, but I'm just doing world building stuff or art. But
do you have a regular time on Tuesdays?
What?
Do you have a regular
Tuesdays
time
at
on
2.
Tuesdays? Tuesdays at 2? Mm-hmm. How have I not been to one of these?
I don't know, but
I don't know either. Every time I miss it, I didn't even know that you streamed on Tuesdays.
And the thing is like you join it, like you will hop into the Discord server right after I finish.
It's a gift. Because Tuesdays are the days I don't work, so sometimes
I'm about to talk about Gromp. I gotta talk about Gromp. Okay, so one of the things I'm doing in the background is after the move happens, I'm gonna be doing like an art stream where I do an art piece that is based on suggestions from people who do any kind of donation during my streams. So if they donate to my Ko-fi, if they subscribe, if they do this, if they do it during my stream, I can get in touch with them and be like, what do you want to add to the art kind of deal. So right now we've got a pearlescent dragon elder worm.
Yep, elder worm. I remember this.
Yes, named Gromp. And I get to draw Gromp in his horde, and I'm really, really excited about it.
This is excellent.
And Gromp is going to be canon in my D&D campaign.
This is also even better. I'm going to lose so much money.
Aaron, will you play as Gromp?
I would love to play as Gromp. I don't know how you want Gromp to be, but I'm down to be Gromp. Is Gromp grumpy?
So excited. What?
Is Gromp a grumpy character?
He can be.
Okay. I'm just getting a vibe on personality. What personality is Gromp?
Honestly, I'll have the art for you, and then you decide the vibe.
Ooh. I'm
Gromp,
sweating.
Aaron, Gromp,
This is a lot of pressure. Is he a villain or an NPC? A helpful? Who is Gromp?
It depends on what the players do.
That's very fair. I'm excited. I don't know what's going on, but I'm down.
That's so fun.
I'll be 100% honest. I am supremely jealous of the people who could get to play in your campaign.
Really?
Yeah. Really? Have you met you? Like, you're the coolest person on the paper dungeon. Who wouldn't be? I'm sitting here and I'm like, Ooh, plainly skipping.
Aaron, you should have said something to
me. I don't want to intrude. We'll see each other all the time. I don't need to butt my way into your Dungeons & Dragons game.
But...
Am I a Lydia stan? Wander. Think about the question. You know the answer. And yes, Coffee, I do assume that Gromp will play a Statler and Waldorf role. At some point in time. No, Maz. You can have the seat of the Lydia stan. I will just gladly take the role of the, I don't know, private assassin. I'm down. You don't have to see me, but you know I'm there. You know I'm present. I'm the muscle of the Lydia stans. That's what the position that I'll take. Yes. So back to Gromp. I'm the think tank is on full drive right now.
I love this. Do you want the full details of Gromp?
No.
Well,
not yet.
I don't have full details, but what has been put in his horde so far and things like that. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what the people have crafted for Gromp.
Mm-hmm. What the people have for Gromp.
The people have for Gromp.
Because right now in my head I have a strange mixture of Statler and Waldorf, Dragon Tail, some other things.
All right, here's your basics. His name is Gromp.
Yep, okay.
He is a great worm.
Yep. And now that's a whole dragon.
That's a whole dragon.
That's a whole dragon. Okay.
That's a whole dragon. Pearlescent scales.
Yep.
Magic purple tattoos.
Ooh. Okay.
He is wide awake, on high alert.
All the time.
But he is friendly.
Okay.
He has a scar over an eye.
Now, question.
Mm-hmm.
Does he still have his eye, or does he have the cool anime scar kind of deal?
Probably cool anime scar.
Is his eye blind? Does he have an eye, but it's the scratch? You know how Nick Fury has the he's blind, but he has the scratch eye? This is very important.
That's to be determined.
Okay.
We'll see.
I'll find out sometime later.
And then right now in his horde, he has a really confused human.
Okay. That's fair. That sounds right.
He has a doll that he was given after saving a girl. But that's how he got his scar, is because people thought that he was
yes. He was not a friendly dragon.
He was going to be hurting the girl, yes.
So we have a very big friendly giant-esque situation where they're like, oh god, a giant. This does sound like a character from a what's his name? He's one of my favorite authors. He wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Roald Dahl. Yes, this is a very Roald Dahl character.
He has crystals.
Got crystals. Oh, so he's one of those people.
3 pieces of outdated currency.
Oh, nice. So that you know that means that you have to come up with 4 different currencies for your campaign, right?
I figured I'd just put in modern money.
He has a dill, a dollar. He has a peso, and then just a pound. Not the money, but just a weight.
Yeah.
This does sound like a Roald Dahl character. I'll be 100% honest.
It does.
That's a whole Roald Dahl book. A confused human finds their way into a giant dragon's cave, but it's very friendly.
Yes. That's Gromp.
That's Gromp. And its name is Gromp.
Its name is Gromp.
That's a Roald Dahl dragon for sure. I'm gonna have to reread my Roald. I love Roald Dahl. Are you terribly familiar with Roald Dahl and his works?
I know of them.
Because let me tell you, the amount of people I talk to, and I'm like, "Do you know who Roald Dahl is?" And they're like,
I know,
no.
I know the like really like popular stuff. Like I know about BFG. I know about Matilda. I know about
James and the Giant Peach.
James and the Giant Peach.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Witches.
I know about Witches.
Everyone knows about Witches. Actually, that's a lie. A lot of people don't.
Go Crumper, go home.
Oh, George's Marvelous Medicine. Absolutely.
I don't know that one.
I when I was a kid, I was like obsessed with Roald Dahl. I tried to read every book that I could find.
You tried to read every book that you could find.
I mean, yes, but especially Roald Dahl. Boyhood, fantastic. Have you? And is the next one Man? I can't remember, because he wrote. Oh geez, he wrote like his own life story, separated it into 2 books. One of them is Boyhood, and then the other one I can't remember if it's Manhood or Man or something completely else. Both of them are incredible. Also, his life was kind of insane. Oh, hello, Dungeon in a Box. We're talking about Roald Dahl.
Hello, welcome in.
Oh geez. But okay, so Roald Dahl. Wild life. One of my favorites. Yeah, he was basically 007. And that was after being a like fighter pilot who this is one of my favorites. This is the best part about his books is they're mostly true. Like his like biographies and stuff. They're mostly true. So he embellishes a couple of things, but for the most part, the events actually occur. So at one point in time, he's a British fighter pilot. I believe he like flew in a combat that the Red Baron was present in, but he never saw them. That could be a lie. I don't know. But he was told to fly across the African desert to a separate airbase. And they give him the wrong coordinates. And so he's just flying. He crashes in the middle of the desert. And then it takes him like a week and a half to find him. And he's like so messed up, his face is swollen that he can't hear or see. And it takes him like 2 to 5 months to recover. And that's the point in time where he like starts to like write stuff, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, dude's life was wild. But yeah, also, most people don't know there's a sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory called Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. And in it, they go to space, fight aliens, and meet the president.
Sounds right.
And it's every once in a while I'll be like, man, I wonder why they never made a movie sequel. And then I think about the contents of the book and I'm like, that's why they never made a movie sequel. It would have been really bad. Yeah, it's a riot. I love Roald Dahl. His books are incredible. And my favorite part about him is that they're kind of horror books. Like, they're not PG.
Right.
People straight up get murdered. Like, it's like Charlie and the Chocolate. Everyone jokes that like the movies are secretly dark. No, they are. They weren't meant to be like not scary. Mm-hmm. That's what made them incredible. My favorite thing is in Witches, the kid straight up gets turned into a mouse, gets his tail chopped off, and he never gets turned back into a kid. He just lives the rest of his life as a mouse.
Oh no.
Like they're like, evil magic, you're a mouse now. He's like, oh man, well, at least his tail is useful. Then his tail gets chopped off. He has to relearn how to walk normally. He goes to his grandma and he's like, yo, grandma, it's me, your grandson, the one that you warned against witches. You were right, and I believed you, but bad things still happened. And grandma's like, it's fine. I'm gonna SEAL Team 6 these witches. And then they own a mansion, and he never gets turned back into a kid. He just lives his life as a tailless rat. I love Roald Dahl. I think he literally came out of saying like for his books, they were like, those books are kind of scary. And he's like, life is scary. Kids should be introduced to things that are not always super happy and pretty. Some of these books will be scary, and I don't think that that's a problem. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I think his books hold up no matter what age you are because of that. Well, that's enough about Roald Dahl. Yeah, he kept his hip bone as a paperweight after he had it replaced. He's like if Dr. Seuss wasn't kind of, and by kind of I mean really creepy. He's just like a cool guy. That's the definition of Roald Dahl. Cool Dr. Seuss. With less rhyming. Yeah. If you haven't read Roald Dahl books, check them out. I think they're really worth the read. That's that segment of this talk show. Lydia, I've ran out of things. We still have 30 minutes. We got pretty far.
We did get pretty far. I've run out of things too. We already talked about my campaign stuff, and that was all I really had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we've got, like, a reputation to uphold, but you and I do have to meet about some things.
Oh, that is fair. A Dr. Seuss that was into the same Tim Burton was into... Yes, that's actually very fair. A very fair comparison. Tim Burton and has a very similar vibe to Roald Dahl in some ways. So yeah, Tim Burton, Dr. Seuss, that's a pretty... but, like, not the bad parts. Aaron, what would my character be for Lydia's? Like, if I was a PC in your game... probably a Horizon Walker Ranger. But if I were to think of it and actually give an interesting answer to your question, more in depth, give me a minute. Horizon Walker Ranger. You're a ranger. And it's focused on dex and wisdom. If we were looking to build a strong character, we would like to focus on those. And assuming that we're still using the old rules that aren't, you can just choose 3 ones to put anywhere you would like, assuming that isn't 3 just on 1. That limits your options. For a strong character, you're probably going to want to go half elf or elf, but that's overplayed, and I hate doing overplayed things, so I'm probably going to do something else. If I still want to go elf, I could go Eladrin, which is probably a better choice for Horizon Walker and has a little bit of flair. Other than that, there's also Kalash Star. I would probably go Kalash Star because it's a very good subclass. Well, it's a very good race that gives you resistance to psychic damage, and that's a very important variable. So probably Kalash Star. Kalash Star, Horizon Walker, Ranger. I might multi-class at a later point in time into some form of Cleric. Maybe Circle of Twilight Cleric? No, that's Druid. What's the stars? The Twilight Domain? Probably Twilight Domain, Horizon Walker, Ranger, Kalash Star.
Beautiful. I like seeing the think tank out loud.
Look, it takes me a little bit to summon it, but it's there. It's ever present, and it's always running. It struggles with names though, so I can't give you any more than that. As a background, I'd probably choose Hermit is an easy one. Hermit's just the easiest. Oh, see, Nilith, I would love to do a Simic hybrid, but I also don't want to ruin Lydia's existence. Oh, well, let me tell you, Raiden, if you're playing a Twilight Domain Cleric, then we switch it up. Instead of going into Cleric, we go into Druid and play Circle of Stars. Or Circle of Dreams, because I'm a sucker for Circle of Dreams. Yeah, so that's my answer to your question. Excellent question. So glad I could help. That took up 4 minutes of time. This is an excellent point because that reminded me. We are out of stuff. If you have any questions for us as either players of Dungeons and Dragons about us in total, like if you just like, hey Aaron, what's the deal with your beard? or something like that. Lydia, why do you look great all the time? Are those horns?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got a bunch of cool stuff in the mail, didn't you?
I got so much cool stuff, dude.
Cool stuff?
These
so you could ask Lydia
though.
about her cool stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. If you don't, is Gromp a himbo? I mean, that himbo is a very subjective term, in my opinion, where I think anyone can be a himbo. I will stand, but this is a hill I'll die on. Anyone, and honestly anything, can be a himbo. If I was running for president, that would be my slogan. Anyone can be a himbo. That's my slogan. Do I have a chin under the beard, or is it just more beard? Actually, it's neither. Both the beard and the chin are an illusion. I'm not even here. This is actually a pre-programmed message, and in response to your next question, no. Once we move in together, do a PO unboxing stream. Well, we would love to. Grant actually has a PO box. Thing is, we have to have things to unbox. So I'm not saying that you should send us a bunch of free stuff, because I would never say. But as the shilling Scrooge, yes, Grant does have a PO box. If you go to his stream, you can send stuff. Please don't send weird things. Well, I mean, as long as it's like okay weird things, but like
please don't send gross
don't
things.
send gross things that are not okay. Any tips on how to improve on being better at role playing? Lydia, you're great at role playing.
Hold on, we missed a whole bunch of questions.
Oh shoot, I was too busy explaining that I'm not here.
First off, Handskate said one race and or class that is totally underrated in your opinion.
Shifter as the race. Got to cycle through my classes.
I think fighter. I think fighter is underrated because everybody thinks it's overrated and boring.
Oh shoot.
I think fighters.
I absolutely really agree, but for the sake of an interesting answer, I'm gonna try to find a different one.
Race. I think Aarakocra is underrated.
I would agree with that as well. Shoot, you have such good answer to this. I wish I was this good at the game. So this is a weird thing, because I know a lot of people like them, but I do think that they are underrated. Artificers. I think so. Yeah. Like, if you look at, I watch a lot of like power gaming content, where it's like how to build your character the strongest. People hate on artificers constantly for a multitude of reasons. And I'm like, okay, I can understand some of the subclasses aren't that great. Some of the subclasses are just that great. And they don't get enough credit. So that's my opinion. Next question. Lydia, you're good at this.
Is D&D 5e your favorite system? Have you used many others? I've only played 5e.
Technically, you're wrong. Vyson.
That's true. I was just thinking of D&D versions.
Yeah. You've also played
I played
the King and Yellow RPG. Your own system.
Yeah.
I think in terms... So this is a hard question, because I think 5th edition is very good. I think that it gets a bad rap by a lot of people. But it accomplishes exactly what it wanted to accomplish, which is make it accessible, make it fun, make it easy to bring people into, and pretty easy to learn and change. And I think that people rag on it a lot. But that's what it was meant to do, and it's different from other editions. And that's okay. It's just because it isn't your edition doesn't mean that it's bad. Mm-hmm. Is it my favorite?
Honestly, my favorite RPG system, I think, is Vyson.
I love Vyson.
I think I'd only enjoy it with you GMing.
That's fair. I think that it is technically my favorite, but I think that has a definite... I don't want it to be. Like, if I had the option to play... Like, if Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition wasn't popular, and it was just like, hey, play whatever game that you would want on this stream, and I knew that it would work out, I would probably choose Vicen or something like that. Speaking of those games, somewhere in the next like week, I'm supposed to get a whole bunch of new RPGs in the mail, and I am so excited for them.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my answer. Technically, yes, but I'd rather it be like Vicen or one of the new RPGs that I might be getting.
Next. Both of you, any tips on how to improve or be better at role playing?
Lydia, you're a great role player. We just throw you under the bus.
A lot of improv rules.
Improv is very important.
Yes, and try to put your partner in the spotlight, not you.
But also know when it is time to take a spotlight, because you shouldn't always be taking
that is true.
Second fiddle. You should, if you think that it'll be fun for you to take the spotlight, do it. Just don't do it all the time. It's
more take the spotlight if it's open. Don't try to take it from somebody else.
If it's your time to take the spotlight,
if it's your time to shine, it's your time to shine.
and then have fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of just like really try to work with your other players. Like, try to make your character match up with them. Even if they're like even if their personality is supposed to be like, oh, I hate you guys kind of deal.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
Aaron, you're really good at that. Make your character hate all existence, but still is an icon.
So here's the trick to this goes with playing a villain, playing a quote unquote evil character. The trick to playing those, and it can be very hard to do, is you can hate everything, but you can never direct that hate towards your party. That is, you should always be attempting to help your party, find a way to help them. Even if you're evil, do your evil stuff with a purpose that it will help the party, and no one will be that doesn't go against them in any sort of way. An example is with let's use Jackson from Camp Cryptid. In that last kind of, while we're debating what to do with the secret, there comes a point in time when I realize that we're just going in circles. And so Jackson says, fine, give it to her. I hope we all die, and you kill the thing that you loved. Like, that is not exactly a good person thing to do. But the purpose was to help the party make a decision to further the plot. You can do that. You can steal things. You can rob people, kill a person, whatever. Don't take this out of context. In the game of Dungeons and Dragons, you can do that. Which are maybe evil things, but you should never do that in a way that will harm your party or make them upset that you did it. Or even if they are upset, in a way that they can understand that you were still trying to help them.
Yeah, it's about being conscious of what is going to be good for the story. And good for the other players. Like, and even if that is like a bad thing, that's like that can be a bad thing that happens. But
it is very rare to find a player who plays evil well. Most of the time, they just suck to play with. Like, you try to do anything.
It can very easily be toxic. Be a very toxic player.
Absolutely. You try to do anything that like does anything, and they just ruin it for everybody. And that's not fun.
As fun as being like evil and stuff like that can be for some people, I definitely wouldn't encourage it if you're like just starting.
Well, yeah, it becomes a zero-sum game where the only way that you have fun is by taking it from other people. If that's how you're having fun, get rid of that character. Yeah. Don't play it, because if you if you don't get rid of it, they will get rid of you.
Another thing is, if you do like play an evil character and want to do like evil things, talk with your DM.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And run your stuff. Run even like if your DM approves. Like if you're about to do something, send your like message your DM like privately and be like, hey, can I do this thing, or is that going to be bad?
Absolutely. Also, probably like it's fine as a surprise, but after the surprise that you're like evil happens, tell the rest of your players that this is going to be an ongoing thing. Because it's nice, like, because sometimes like I've played with a player who literally just did an evil thing and then it never happened again, and it was like, oh, okay, so that was just a one time, kind of forgot what was going on kind of deal.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but like if you plan to be consistently a pain in the neck, make sure that they know and are okay with it. But if you're in a fully evil campaign and everyone's evil, go wild. Go crazy. Straight up, if everyone's doing evil stuff, then no one's upset with you doing evil stuff. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that actually helps with the whole roleplay question. I would say...
I know, I've been thinking about it more.
I would say that when it comes to advice for better role-playing, we already covered the main things, which are like good ad-lib is important.
The thing I'm thinking of is like the more... because I've been asked about it, especially with like the recent TikToks, with the more intimate or the more like emotional stuff. I'm trying to think of stuff for that because I struggle with it still.
Well, it's a really hard thing because what really makes the difference is first being able to, I mean, yeah, who you're playing with is a big one, but for role playing in general, I don't know how to explain getting in character, but figuring out whatever helps you with that is the first thing. Like being able to put yourself into your character's shoes and then see from their point of view, and think how they would think, kind of get out of your own head and into theirs, which is really bad acting advice because it doesn't actually explain to you how to do that. And I couldn't tell you how to do that. I've just done it for long enough that it just happens.
For me, I have like character playlists with their vibes, and I just listen to that before I play.
Now, with that being said, I think it is also a very, very important thing that once you reach that level and you're able to fully get into your character's headspace, and it isn't weird to roleplay those like dramatic or intimate things because you aren't you. It is very important to maintain that separation between you and your character.
Yeah.
Because that can get super difficult, either with feelings being hurt or just being all around uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Is a very difficult thing to do. You need to strike a good balance between I am not my character, but I am also playing as them and their emotions. So that way, if something bad happens to your character, you yourself aren't hurt, but you can still understand how your character would be.
It's like reading, like when you read a book and you get to like the sad part of it, or you're watching a movie and you get to the sad part where it's like in your brain you're like, it's not real, but I love the story part to it kind of deal.
Or like, have you ever, like when you're watching a TV show and you know that the character is about to do something really cringy, and you like shrivel up and you're like, ugh. Like I've literally fast forwarded through parts of shows that I know just make me like just cringe so hard. That's good. You should be able to do that. You should be able to be in character and have one say, and have like some dramatic moment where someone looks at you and they're like, you are a liar and I hate you, and then go home and not go, were they saying that about me? They weren't. That's what makes it acting.
Yeah. And obviously, like, also, like, session zeros just establish everything. Like, go over what you're wanting out of the campaign.
Oh yeah,
what kind of role
absolutely.
play you want to do, what kind of role play you aren't comfortable doing.
Very much so.
And if like, and also vocalize, like, because I've had a few with this where it's, I really want to do more role play and get better at role play, but I don't currently feel very comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, I've gotten that as DM, so I'm trying to find ways to give opportunity for them without forcing them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just communicating everything.
Communicating is very important.
Communicating is a healthy part of
and
any relationship.
A lot of it too is just time and practice, and which sucks. But like, I think that there is a general consensus that I am pretty good at playing and DMing Dungeons and Dragons, which I don't mean to brag. And the reason for that is I have been playing 5th edition almost as long as it has been out. Mm-hmm. And I have played and DM'd more games in the past 8 years than some people have in their like entire career of playing Dungeons and Dragons. And so yeah, it's just experience. I have played in pretty much every situation that I could ever imagine. Mm-hmm. And that certainly helps.
Well, and we've talked about this a lot, Aaron, too, because like I went through it with Renaya, where it was like I was having a really hard time with Renaya because Renaya was just sad all the time. Mm-hmm. And it was starting to get to the point that it was like it just wasn't fun to play because I was just going to go.
You're like, this sucks. I'm gonna go play a character that is not having a good time.
So if you ever find like that there's an element to your character that you're not enjoying anymore, just change it.
Yes. That's a very I say this to so many people, and some of them look at me like I'm crazy. You are a master of your character. They are not real people. Their logic does not have to follow a path or anything. You don't have to have a reason to feel in a way. If you want your character to be happy, play the character happy. You can make a sudden change. It doesn't, if someone game is like, well, this seems strange. You seem awfully chipper today. That's pretty off. And you just go, I was thinking about it. I just don't like that way. And you can say that in character, and it's fine. Just choose the way you want your character to be. Mm-hmm. And be that way. You don't have to have reason. You can be smiling in the middle of the apocalypse if you want to. If you want to play a character that at that moment is sad or angry, do that. It's great. Don't play a character that you won't have fun with.
Yeah. And then with the like when other people aren't in character headspaces, honestly, it's super difficult. And I know it sucks, but it's like if you fully invest, other people will get permission to fully invest too. Mm-hmm. That's what's helped me a lot because with DJ, specifically with Grotz, is I would have a really hard time doing interactions because I would be like very hesitant, unsure of what to do. But seeing DJ repeatedly just commit, like, kind of gave me permission to do that. And I'm still.
I mean, yeah, it's a very new thing. So I will also say that there is a potential that they're looking for a different type of game to play. Mm-hmm. So there are certainly people who play Dungeons and Dragons. Well, I should actually say, most likely, if you are looking to play in a game where you are deeply in character and invested in that, and you are in a group that they don't do that, there's a definite potential that they are there to play just a game where you are there to play a character. Mm-hmm. Dungeons and Dragons also has a good function as a like tactical power gaming war game, if that is what you would like. Not necessarily as a like murder hobo way, but like I love I tend to actually lean that direction when I play Dungeons and Dragons. I love the figuring out how spells and abilities interact and action economy and like doing actions rather than role playing a character. That's a very fun way to play the game for me. So if you tend to find that you're struggling in that campaign, it may be that they're playing a different game than you. Mm-hmm. And that's both are plenty excellent ways to play. Both of them are good. Both of them are valid.
Yeah.
But if that is a concern that you have, you may want to ask that. Be like, hey, I came here to play a character. Do you guys not want to do that? Mm-hmm. And if the answer is no, and you don't find that fun, you may just want to find a new campaign.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing that I wish would get normalized more. Is just walking away from a campaign if
absolutely.
It's not the right
just
fit.
Like, yeah. Turns
because
out
everybody plays so differently.
Oh yeah, I'm out here playing gosh dang pirates, and you're playing Monopoly. This is very different. It's a very different vibe, and both of them are good.
They're just different games.
Just different games entirely. Yeah, it's really awkward when you show up to a Monopoly game and you have like a battleship, and they're like, "Buddy," and you're like F7, and they're like, "That is not how this game works." Yeah, Faye, that is rough. Yeah, I think it's totally okay. If you aren't having fun in a campaign, I suggest first trying to work it out with the people. Mm-hmm. Be like, hey, it would be really fun. And then if nothing changes or it just isn't fun for you, it's okay to leave. If you aren't having fun with the game, you can always just set it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that's super cool to see, Weepiest. Having to do everything for a party is hard.
Yeah.
Like when you have when they aren't using their like character stuff to get through problems, like if you have a rogue and you're like the DM just keeps throwing traps at you, but they're just like, well, technically that's not in it's not in like an ability that I have, or I'm just not like really paying a lot of attention, and you're like some dumb barbarian trying to deal with these traps. It's rough.
Yeah, I had one where it was a new group, like none of us like really knew each other all that well, so everybody was still trying to like get used to it and get comfortable kind of deal. But I it made me feel bad because I was having to take the lead on so many things. Mm-hmm. Because like I was comfortable doing it, but I hated it because I'm like, I want somebody else to take the lead. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm like stealing everything. But there would be times where if I would literally like sit back and be like, okay, I'm not going to initiate anything.
And then just nothing happens.
And then we all sit there in a silence, and I'm like,
it's kind of like how I sometimes feel like I'm steamrolling you on table scraps. Because my only purpose is fill dead air. So if I hear a silence, unless it's a purposeful one, I like yeet into it.
Yeet.
And then sometimes I feel bad. But hey, you know what just happened? We managed to fill up the remainder of our 2 hours.
We couldn't have done it without you.
You know who I'm pointing at. You know who I'm talking about. And it's not, if this ends up on YouTube, it's not you. Because you weren't here.
Well, it might have been you if you came back to watch.
You would know if it was. But if you don't know if it's you, it's not. I love pointing at the camera.
We know.
I find it very fun. But yeah. That's our show. I have the obligatory plugs that I also did at the start of it to do. So we have social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Our TikTok is poppin'. Our Instagram is present. And our Twitter is pain. The 3 P's of our socials. We also have a Discord. And if you're not on the Discord...
Get over there.
what? Our Discord is better than like 98% of the content that we release. It's awesome. You can hang out with us. I've been playing a bunch of games on there. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, a game from my childhood. Cryptid the Necro Dancer or something like that. It's great. We also have a website where you can buy our merchandise. Stuff with our logo on it and things that DJ said like 4 years ago. And speaking of websites where you can buy merchandise, Lydia has one. You can buy stuff with her art on it. It's really cool. You should do that. Go send her your money. She needs to move and she needs to pay rent. It's a very important thing. Let's see. If you would like to support us, I am playing Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Ryan. I haven't told you about that. It's going on. If you want to support us more than just hanging out with us, which is all you need to do, because not hanging out with us is not allowed. You can support us in other ways. We have a Streamlabs donation. We have a Ko-Fi. We also have a Patreon, which keep an eye on that Patreon, because we will be having stuff on there. We'll probably put a lot of like Lydia's Move stuff on the Patreon. It'll probably be there. But yeah, we'll have. We got some things. There were some cool ideas presented for the Patreon recently that I would love to investigate further into. But yeah, and the best thing that anyone can do, and it's completely free, but it does require at least one other person, is to tell your friends about us. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your teachers at school or your boss at work. Tell them about us. Bring them to the show. Do that. I think that's all of it.
That's all.
I'm pretty sure that's all. This has been Table Scraps. Table Talks with Table Scraps, to be clear. And we are the Paper Dungeon. I am Aaron. This is Lydia. Show up on Monday, this coming Monday, for a super cool guest stream.
We get to play D&D live again!
Finally! And it's going to be wild. You're going to hear the best NPC in the game, and there will be at least one. Oh my. It will happen. It's been a blast. Thanks everyone for stopping by.
It just puts rage in my heart.
I care about that.
Dude!
Have a great rest of your night. The only thing that I have left to say is good luck and godspeed, everyone. We will see you next time, Dungeoneers.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.